Howdy, lads and gents. I know it's been a while since I've done one of these things, and I'm noticing in this light, this controller is actually kind of dirty, and that's gross. But this is the Nintendo GameCube Wavebird. This controller basically revolutionized wireless controllers as we know them today. Instead of using infrared like the controllers before this that were wireless, this used RF. Not only that, but there were multiple channels so you could have more than one. And they all fit in there just fine and they don't look stupid. They don't have a cheap dongle hanging out. These controllers are great, beloved by many. But we're not talking about this controller because I just went over it in, what, 30 seconds? This controller is amazing. You don't really need to say anything else. It's a GameCube controller. Otherwise, it's very comfortable. And the only bad thing about it is it doesn't have a rumble feature. Now there's a little company, and I don't know who the fuck made it. I don't really believe that the company is called this, but what we have here is Thrustmaster. Is it the Thrustmaster? I don't know. All it says on it is Thrustmaster, and it says it on the sticker too, so I don't understand. Now, thankfully, this is also RF, which is great. Or it might actually be Bluetooth because it's got a little sync button right here, and you sync the controller to that by, I don't know, I think you just turn it on and then it goes. And you see this bright blue light while you're using this controller, it flashes you in the face constantly. And you wouldn't think a little light like that would do a lot, but my God, it does. I only know about this controller because me and my little brother, while my siblings were visiting up at my dad's house, decided to go out and get a couple of GameCube controllers. We didn't have any there, so I just asked for the cheapest wireless controller they had, and my little brother got a third-party controller plus an extension. So this is the cheapest wireless controller they had in the back. Now, according to the back, ZL and ZR, which I believe were Wii U era things, this might actually be newer than I thought it was. But again, Thrustmaster, master of thrusts, I suppose. This thing looks like a baby's toy. And, like, seriously, it's like two-dimensional. It looks like a baby's toy. Your kid can teethe on this controller, which is fantastic, you know. That's really I don't necessarily think that's the audience they're geared toward, but at least it's not that weird stuff that gets sticky over time. Or maybe it's just not that old and it hasn't gotten sticky yet. The grips on the sticks are actually really nice. I don't necessarily know about a dead zone in this or not. The D-pad seems to register left, up, and down just fine, but right seems to have some trouble. You know, you get that when you get third-party cheapo controllers like this. There's the sync button, so it might actually be through Bluetooth. I've noticed some latency issues because of that. I don't know if I said that yet. It runs off of 3 AAAs, which is ridiculous considering even the Mad Catz controller back in the day, the wireless one, ran on 2 AAAs. Which, when I went back and tried again, the Mad Catz controller sucked too. Yeah, I understand there was some, you know, commotion in the comments about whether or not the Mad Catz controller was good. Look, if it worked for you, it worked for you, and that's fine. I think it's terrible, and I'd rather have the Wavebird. I don't know if I'd rather have the Thrustmaster, though. This thing is very uncomfortable. Like, I don't even understand where to begin. My hands are too big for it, and I don't even really have that big of hands. It's, ah, this thing is kind of, I don't want to use the word abomination. That can't be right. But, I don't know. Look, when you look at this, you can also tell that they didn't really change much. This definitely crossed multiple platforms, and the only thing that probably changed is the output. The dongle was probably the same. The only difference was what it plugged into. So I'm sure they had a PS2 version of this, and I'm sure they had an Xbox version of this as well, if it came out back then. But ZL and ZR are really telling me that it came out during the Wii U era. So, if that's the case, God, what a thing to come out. It just looks so cheap, but again, it looks like a baby's toy. I don't understand. Like, I've never seen another one of these before. Like, this is my first time seeing it, so that's why I'm seeing... Oh, you know what? I do recognize Thrustmaster as a company. They made, like, PC controllers and stuff, and, like, flight controllers. I keep scratching on this because it's a weird texture. Yeah, but they made flight controllers and stuff. I do actually remember this company. It's very... I don't know if this is a sign of them going downhill or not. I mean, maybe. And if I'm honest, I don't know how to end this, but I would like to show you guys that I do have some stuff in the pipes. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So I took a, I had a huge shopping spree at a place called Another Castle. Maybe you've been there. I know we have a couple here in Washington State. One in Marysville, one in Linwood, and I frequent both. So I'd like to show you a couple of cheap knockoff controllers that I got that really piqued my interest. This is the Hudson Nintendo 64 controller. Now, I actually do trust Hudson as a company, especially because I have a PC Engine or TurboGrafx 16, depending. Well, I say depending. It's most definitely a PC Engine because it's from Japan. I'm getting off track here. Now, there's a lot of things on this controller. When you hold this controller, despite the fact of its little malformed legs here on the side, you wouldn't expect it to feel just like a Nintendo 64 controller, but it really does. In fact, depending on who you are, you might even think it feels better. And I actually do like this. I saw this, and for $4, I was like, yeah, I'll take that. Especially because of the things that I do on this channel that I haven't done in quite a while. Seriously, there doesn't appear to be any drawbacks to this controller, and but I've yet to test it out. Everything feels right, but really what matters is the performance. Now, aside from that, I also picked up this. This is the Ultra Racer 64. Now, this is interesting. Now, everything honestly still feels like quality-ish. Even the little wheel here, despite the fact that it's falling apart due to its age. I would like to try and play Mario Kart 64 and some other racing games and actually come back to you guys on on how that works. A and B off, A and B on. Isn't that interesting? L, R, and Z. I think that changes to... No, it doesn't. Look, A and B down there at the bottom. It's basically the Z button. That's insane. You can turn it off at any time. The only problem is, okay, you do have a D-pad right here. You can see these little buttons, but I need to stop. I'm basically reviewing this controller, but I haven't tested it out yet. I'm really getting ahead of myself. Now, more stuff to talk about after that. I'm actually going to get to right after this video. Now, I know how these things work because I've already had one before, so I can easily explain and direct you to another video. This is the PlayStation 2 remote in its original packaging, which I'll take care of right after this. Catch you guys later.